Hey, what's up? I got some more lore content for you guys. My name is Tempo. I've been playing and making content for Riot's card game since its closed beta, specializing in beginner content to help you get into the game, along with peaking rank 1 multiple times on ladder. And I will be your guide for what decks to invest in early, so you can get a jump start in Legends of Runeterra. So this is when I usually talk about what rotations are, and also include a quick crafting guide during the segment, but I'm going to skip over that for this video and just get right into the first deck. That being said, if you need more context, definitely check out my last beginner video for how to import decks, and small tips on crafting. As per usual, I want to cover an aggressive themed deck, a mid-range deck, and a control deck for this video, that way there's something for everyone. So we'll be starting off with Gnar, Darius, Overwhelm, which isn't true aggro, but it does push damage pretty quickly, and very efficiently. It is of course abusing the strongest and free-to-play, beginner-friendly package in the entire game, and that is Omenhawk and Yadulski, an absolute wombo combo of just stats. They both grant +1/+1 to the top 2 cards of the deck, and when you play those cards out, especially if you're playing them on curve, like Omenhawk on 1 into Yadulski on 2 into, like, let's say a buffed Iron Ballista on 3, you are snowballing an advantage that your opponent has to deal with or just get rolled out flat. The deck is also equipped with very powerful spells like Sky Splitter, being one of the best combat tricks in the entire game, and also really good to use against control decks that have a bunch of damage removal spells. Sky Splitter giving +3 HP is an absolute massive buff that can help you win combat and also keep your units alive when they're getting shot at. Something else that I want to touch on real quick is the Overwhelm keyword in general. And it says, excess damage I deal to my blocker is dealt to the enemy nexus. This is basically piercing damage. If you were to deal a little bit extra over an enemy unit, it will deal the difference directly to the enemy, which is super good. Another little key point about Overwhelm that it doesn't explicitly say is that if a unit dies or is removed from combat before your strike goes through, that means your unit will then attack the opponent directly as if the enemy unit never existed. And that's really, really important. That's where a lot of this deck's aggressive pressure comes from, is being able to push through enemy blockers and then removing an enemy blocker from combat to push direct damage. Now, how do we do that, you may ask? Well, one of our win con cards, Decisive Maneuver, will help us do that. It says stun an enemy. Give all allies +2 this round. So this is going to be one of the main cards that you're going for in the mid to late game to secure the victory. So a stun will take an enemy unit out of combat and put it back on the opponent's bench. Now when it does this, your Overwhelm unit will be like, oh, there's no unit here, so now I'll just hit directly. With a +2 boost, by the way. So if the opponent is just at like 8 to 10 health, you can very easily hit that threshold with just this one spell resolving. Other than that, the key playstyle that you're going to want to be going for with this deck is developing like 2 or 3 key units and then protecting those units over the course of the game. Bonus points if those are the buffed units that Omenhawk and or Yadulski hit earlier on. And that's pretty much it. You just use your resources to protect those, keep swinging, and then do a big push with the Decisive Maneuver. And also, in case that doesn't get you there, we do run a couple Noxian Fervor to deal direct damage directly to the enemy nexus. The deck is overall very cheap to craft as well, utilizing 2 Gnar and 2 Darius from the structure decks that the game gives you. All you have to do is craft the 3rd Gnar. You don't even need a 3rd Darius, he's so fine at 2. So you need 3rd Gnar, and then the rest of the deck is just commons and rares. Not a single epic in sight, so it should be really easy to craft, and some of these cards will perform for you in other decks moving forward. For example, you definitely want to put a high priority on Omenhawk and Yadulski and Sky Splitter, because they can be run in pretty much every single Freljord strategy. And that's it for this deck rundown. Now here's a live commentary game so you can see how the deck plays out. I'll be giving context to why I'm playing certain cards, and hopefully it gives you a good feel on how to play the deck. And for this example game, we're going to be fighting Senna, Janna, Control. So again, Sky Splitter is going to be very important on top of those +1/+1 buffs that we get from Omen and Yadulski. That being said, we are attacking on odds, really important to keep in mind. We're going to be attacking on turns 1, 3, 5, 7, etc. So we could keep the Iron Ballista for attack 3, and then mulligan away the rest. Try to get some buff spells, or try to get the Omen Yadulski. Nice, we got Sky Splitter. That is very good into them. That way we can try to outplay the damage removal that Piltover and Zon brings to the table. Now Shadow Isles is going to be a different issue. We can't really out things like Vengeance, of course. Alright, so we do have a little bit of a slow and scuffed start. Nowhere near as powerful as this deck can actually perform. since we didn't open Omen or Yadulski, so we'll see if this deck can still do well even without that opener. Really important to keep in mind, especially against, I'd say, a pretty hard matchup. Iron Ballista. Yeah, our hand is kind of bricked, so we're going to be preying off of top decks for the most part. That's pretty good piercing damage. We're pushing 3 here. Punk. Let's see if they have a spell. No, they don't want to use Glare or anything like that. Okay. I'm not even so sure if Glare's in standard. I haven't really been super good on keeping track of that. Oh, Evil Imperfectionist. Gotcha. Okay. Let us do a Yadulski here. And then they're passing. Okay, I will do the same. Gnar. I really like doing the first action attack and then playing Gnar after, because if we deal any damage to the enemy Nexus, then he'll level up next turn.
Silence, non-K being.
Okay, that is interesting. Should I do a spell here? Well, Sky Splitter is not like the cleanest because it won't result in killing the Evil Imperfectionist, so probably not that. Decisive Maneuver is again better for like a potential lethal. Elixir of Wrath, now this could be worth it. Just to get the trade up for 1 mana. It removes the unit from combat. I think this is worth. That way I don't have to deal with it anymore. We're still pushing our 4 reliable damage from the Ballista. Ah yeah, Sunken Temple, a landmark card. Something that we do run and out for, but we don't technically have in our hand at the moment. We need an Explorer for this, that way we can get the Destroy Landmark spell. Soul Harvest. Well, we can use Sky Splitter to protect from Soul Harvest. And there we go, that's a pretty good way to get the cards out of our hand, get our mana spent, and be ready for the next attack turn. Alright, Gnar has leveled. He did not grant anything vulnerable on level up because there was no enemy unit in play, but that's okay. Still good value. We have a 5/5 with Overwhelm Quick Attack. Love that keyword. Piercing Darkness. Sure. I guess that makes sense. I guess we can go into Darius here. They just tap to 1. Alright, what else am I thinking? Yadulski and Saurian, because open attack does not quite get me there. I don't think it's very strong. It might be better to do a cheap play first, deal out what they do, and then play Saurian after. There's 2 reasons for this. We're playing our cheap card first, because we can do like a decisive maneuver play if we think our next attack is decent. Or we can play Glacial Saurian, which will give us a draw because we have a dog in play now. Something important to keep in mind while you're reading the cards is like all the different effects and things they do. So this requires you to have another animal, essentially, another subtype. Hello, what just happened? My Darius died. So because we have a dog in play now, we get the draw from Saurian, which is also really nice. Soul Harvest. Alright, so they are just shooting our units left and right. Full control. Understandable, have a nice day. But it's a good thing we did develop because our Darius would have just got vengeanced as soon as we tried attacking. So we still push some damage. Red Barbed Razor Mace. That's a pretty good card. I think the main card that we're worried about is Ruination. Okay, fair enough. Do Omen. And then we'll do a Razor Mace. Razor Mace is not great into Sunken Temple, unfortunately.
Fill your lungs and cry, Janna.
That's alright. That's okay. They're about to draw infinite, you know that?
The Zephyr heralds the squall.
Swing, swing, swing. Let's see if we can do something with Decisive Maneuver. It'd be kind of cool if we can. It'd be super epic, because we have technically, you know, +4 to all of our dudes.
My Tempest shields us.
Yeah, let's try Decisive. That threatens exact lethal. Should force a fast speed spell. If they don't have one, then we could win here. Nice! Let's go! Dude, they had everything going for them too, and our hand wasn't even that great, and we still came out on top. And for the next deck, we have Ashe LeBlanc, and you guessed it, we're also going to be abusing the Omen Hawk and Yadulski combo since we are in Freljord. These tend to be really important for like aggressive and mid-range decks especially, so of course we're going to be utilizing those buffs and having very strong mid-game pushes when we have our buffs on our key units and also champions. So this is a beginner-friendly version of a very strong meta deck, by the way. So if I were to just like recommend one of these decks from this video, this is the one that I would highly recommend going for immediately, because you can also transition it to one of the best decks, if not the best deck in the game at the moment for standard ranked. If you want to see the refined version of Ashe LeBlanc with some modified numbers, definitely check out my recent meta report where I covered Ashe LeBlanc in more detail. But yeah, this deck is nice because it's also on the cheaper side. I do believe that Avarosian Hearthguard is the most expensive card, but I feel like you get one or two of him from like the 7-day login bonus, if that is still available to new players. I think it is. And then you also get Ashe at the end of it, but you will have to craft the LeBlanc, and you have to finish off your Ashes, and of course any Hearthguard. So it is much more expensive than the Gnar Darius Overwhelm. However, it is so very worth it to go for right away. So yeah, we're running some Frostbite stuff, which is really cool. Frostbite as a keyword reduces an enemy unit to 0 attack, and this has synergy with Ashe. If you can do that 5 times, then she will level, give you Crystal Arrow. Units that have 0 attack can't block, so you get like really strong swings, and also she Frostbites on attack call. So really, really cool stuff there. But to be honest, this deck isn't all about Ashe and Frostbite. She's actually kind of there as a secondary win con. The primary win con is building your board, establishing your presence, protecting your units with buff spells, and then just winning purely through combat. A lot like the Gnar Darius Overwhelm deck. You're going to be basically doing the same thing. But what's cool is instead of Overwhelm, an aggressive keyword, this deck has access to other tools, like Rallying. So Rally lets you attack twice on a turn that you've already attacked, or it lets you attack on a defense turn, just putting up so much pressure that the opponent has to deal with. And this card may look costly, however, we are running cards with a word called Reputation attached to them. Reputation activates if allies have struck for 5 or more damage at least 4 separate times over the course of the game. Now that's going to be pretty easy since a lot of the units have a base stat of 5, and then other things are going to perhaps be buffed up by the Omen, Yadulski, and also Sky Splitter can get you there to those 5 attack strikes. Right? And it's also cool because we have a strike spell. This also helps, and is a reputation card in and of itself. Aside from Tactician, the other thing we're going to be going for is actually LeBlanc level. So LeBlanc levels if she sees allies deal 15 plus damage while she's on the board, and then when she levels, the most important part is not her stat increase, it is her effect. She will give you a mirror image in hand. She can make more mirror images as you deal damage, she can make your current mirror image cheaper, all that good stuff. But this card is absolutely insane, and either makes or breaks the deck and your entire game. So it says pick an ally, summon an exact ephemeral copy of it, so anything that's on summon will also take effect. For example, Mr. Incisive Tactician himself, he says when I'm summoned, rally, not when I'm played from hand. No, when I'm summoned. So you can play Tactician, get a bunch of damage in, LeBlanc will give you a mirror image or make yours cheaper, and then you can play that mirror image, creating a copy of Incisive Tactician, and he will allow you to attack again, which is absolutely insane. Another cool use case for it is actually Trifarian Assessor. If you are running low on resources and you desperately need to draw like 2 or 3 cards, you can also mirror image the Assessor, and she will get her on summon draw effect if you have any units that meet the condition, which is really cool. You can also copy Ashe, which gives you more Frostbites on attack, which is really cool too. You can probably push like an Ashe level that way. So it's such a simple spell, but it has so many layers to it, so many nuances, and so many cool combos in this deck, and those combos are free for you to explore and utilize. There's a lot of sick things that you can do, and there's also some number changes that you can make to this deck. This is just like a foundation to get you into the deck, be able to play all the different parts pretty coherently, and it's a very cohesive deck that, you know, keeps itself together, it knows what it wants to do, and it does it really well. But again, you can play with the numbers, you can do different things. There's a lot of cards that have come in and out for Ashe LeBlanc over the years, because this is kind of an older deck, it's a fan favorite. So yeah, there's a lot you can do, so I highly recommend trying it and exploring, checking out my content, watching my videos that cover Ashe LeBlanc, or checking me out on stream, because I do play this deck, and I plan to play it probably to Master Tier, because it's just so reliable. It really is. And that's it for the deck rundown. Now here's a live commentary game. And for this example game, we're going to be fighting Aphelios Lee Sin, a slow-paced wombo combo deck. So we are going to want to establish board presence right away and try to pressure them, force them to use their spells and spend their mana, because if we let them get away with too much, they will actually just one-shot us. Very scary combo. So we have LeBlanc, we're attacking on odds, so we can play her right on attack 3, which is nice. They're not in Piltover and Zon, which means no Mystic shots. That's important to keep in mind. So let's do mulligan away the Combat Cook. We would rather have him in deck anyways, because we want him to be hit by Omen and Yadulski, makes him more valuable. I think I'm going to mulligan away the Icewell Archer, and maybe keep the Brittle Steel. Nice. Mainly because I did want my other like 1 and 2 cost cards. So Icewell Archer is decent. It's definitely better to keep in aggro matchups, so that's why I didn't really want to keep it. And it's better to get the Yadulski, of course. Oh, we also have the Trifarron Glory Seeker and Brittle Steel combo. Also super nice. So let's play our Yadulski. And I think I will go for the Glory Seeker next turn. I feel pretty safe to do so. It's either that or I play LeBlanc. LeBlanc pressure right away is also really good, so it's like a 50-50 here. Do I play Glory Seeker and do wombo combo with Brittle Steel and try to kill the Eye of the Dragon, because this unit can be really annoying? Or do I play LeBlanc and try to pressure them immediately? They don't have access to direct damage pings, so I think it might actually be LeBlanc here. This is like a matchup specific kind of play. Start rolling, right? Get the pressure going.
What a treat.
Double swing. Little good habit of yours. Attack with LeBlanc on the far right, pretty much every time. Oh, okay. I mean, that's pretty scary, but we do have the Brittle Steel for that. Keeping my Yadulski alive, putting a little bit of damage on that eye. But yeah, you want to attack with LeBlanc on the right for the most part, because she needs to see you do damage. And she can... Okay, double Twin Discipline's a little extra, don't you think? They spent 4 mana for that, just to kill my dog. But yeah, she wants to see the damage, so... Combat happens from left to right, so you want to attack with her on the right. Ooh, we got the buffed Combat Cook like I wanted. That's really nice. You get to heal too, good for you. Yeah, let's go ahead and play the Combat Cook out. Do the Pot of Pain. So yeah, he gets to pick a weapon. And then he buffs the weapon. I don't like Shepherd's Authority, because my unit won't be able to block. That option is really important. It's nice to be able to block. So, I will take the Pot of Pain, rather than raw stats. Lee Sin, Aphelios, right. Okay. Well, if we open attack, we could potentially get the LeBlanc level. We also have 3 Sisters in our pocket, just in case we need to win this combat. We have Flash Freeze to lower the Eye of the Dragon to 0. We have Fear of the North for a self buff, or we can try Entomb and obliterate something. Sleeping Bud, sleep a unit. Well, I can't really outplay that, so that is happening. Because my unit was put in the landmark, puts the weapon back in my hand, I can equip it to whatever I want, including LeBlanc if I desire. I think I will pass on that for now. I feel like I just want to play the Omen Hawk. And then see where the rest of the turn goes. Guiding Touch, sure. That's 2 spells, so they'll get a Dragonling next turn. Oh no, Portal Pioneer! Wait, if that was their play, why didn't they do that to LeBlanc? Because they can, like, wombo combo, turn my unit into a landmark, and then play a landmark destruction spell. That's kind of cool. Little 2-card combo here. Yeah, I can't do anything about that. They should have done that to my champion, though, I think. Play the Glory Seeker.
Requires a sharp blade.
Now, should I put this Pot of Pain on something? I don't think so. Because Ionia tends to recall, I think I'm just going to lose my 2 mana if I put that on her. They also have Sunburst from Targon, right? As long as Leona's in Standard. Again, I have not done the best at keeping up with every single card that's in the rotation. I'm just kind of spitballing and thinking about all the different plays that they have. But I feel like Pot of Pain is not worth it at the moment. Just because I might end up losing that 2 mana. I might be able to put it on the Trifarron Glory Seeker. Heart of the Tree. I wish I had my landmark destruction card. If I had my Explorer, oh, we'd be in such a good spot here. Let's go ahead and Icevale Archer the 2/1 because why not? Lowers their lifesteal value. Now what I could do, right? What I could do is pot a pain up my Icevale Archer. Now the reason I'd want to do this is because he will now enter the 5 attack threshold. And then help me proc Reputation a little bit more consistently in case they have an out to LeBlanc, because I really need an Incisive Tactician this turn. Oh, there's Ashe too. Ashe is so nice here, but like, again, I think it's Tactician time. So let's go ahead and swing with Glory Seeker. We're going to grab that pesky Eye of the Dragon, or we can grab that pesky Spriteling and make Eye block us. I think that's better, yeah, since we have a 2/2. I don't want the Spriteling to trade into my Omen Hawk. We'll just try to pressure the Eye this way. If the Eye doesn't block, then she's gonna have to eventually. Oh goodness, we are in such a good spot all of a sudden. This might be GG this turn.
I whisper truth into lies.
This could be exactly what I was talking about, the Tactician pressure into WinCon, because now he costs 6, and we can make a second one. So we can attack 3 times this turn. Not once, not twice, 3 times. Unless they have Notify, in which case it will only be twice, but we shall see. Portal Pioneer number 2. They're probably going to go for Hot Cocoa or turning off keywords. But yeah, let's Tactician.
One must stack the wood before burning the pyre.
Now, you have to come up with an out right now, because this is a lot of attack pressure. And we're of course threatening lethal. They have 8 health. Turning off keywords, so no quick attack from my LeBlanc. Okay, like that's fine. Not a big deal whatsoever. So we will attack. Again, LeBlanc on the far right. That way we can see more damage. Potentially see a cheaper mirror image.
Ready yourself.
Always a good habit. We're threatening lethal, so they do have to come up with an out right now. It's probably like another Blooming Bud or something, or a recall. Like the only thing I can think of.
Begins. Ready yourself.
I don't have enough mana for Three Sisters Fury. Cal Cascade, draw another card. Cal Cascade. And GG. We can just hit Resolve, but I'm gonna BM. Saving Private LeBlanc! Nice. I didn't have to do that. I could have just won if I hit Resolve. I'm a little rude for that. And for the last deck of the video, we have the premier beginner-friendly control deck, Darkness, the one that you start off with when you first boot up the game and play a few of the challenges. But yes, I've covered this deck in excruciating detail multiple times. TLDR, it is a resource-based control deck. You're going to want to be shooting your opponent's units while you are actively developing your board and generating more value. You're going to be creating your own removal card in the form of Darkness. You're going to be creating more cards in your hand that can efficiently deal with the opponent, and you're going to end up in a state where you have like 6 cards on board plus in hand, and the opponent has like 2 cards on board, nothing in hand. That is the goal, that is the objective of this deck. Whittle down the opponent's resources, stay ahead, make them surrender. So here is the Darkness card. A lot of our units can generate this. This is a reoccurring damage removal spell. We can do a lot of stuff to it. We can buff it, make it stronger. We can buff it by making it cheaper. We can accelerate it, making it fast speed, all with these different cards. So the Catalyzer and Vagar will buff its damage. The Robe Maker will discount it. And of course, Senna will accelerate it. Each of the effects respectively. The deck is also loaded with premium removal tools at its disposal because it is Bandle City and Shadow Isles. Bandle City, home to Pytos, one of the best removal cards. It's home to Quietus. It's home to Soul Harvest. Very flexible removal cards. Glare, which also gives you a draw. Lots of draw in general, by the way, in this deck. So it's going to be pretty easy for you to stay ahead because you are actively getting more cards out of your deck and also poofing them out of thin air with some of your cards. And you will just be winning outright via the pressure. However, There are also a couple other ways that you can win the game directly in case you want to take a little bit more of a proactive route. And that would be the Vhagar level. You get him developed, you keep him safe, you play him at a good time, you get a bunch of darkness in, and then all of a sudden your darkness can target the enemy nexus, giving you like a direct damage spell. What's really cool is you can also double cast it with Ishtali's Sentinel, as long as Vhagar level 2 is on the board. This card basically says double cast your darkness, hitting the enemy nexus. If your first one is already targeting the enemy nexus, it's a double dip. You can hit for like, I don't know, anywhere between 12, 16 darkness damage, depending on how much you've amped it up with your Vhagar and your catalyzers. So really cool way that you can just take the game's outcome directly into your own hands and win on your own terms. And that's it for the deck rundown. Now here's a live commentary game. And for this example game, we're going to be fighting Championless Mono SI, which is most likely Wraiths, which are actually a very terrifying deck. Very fearsome deck indeed. We have Robemaker in opening hand, a Quietus, a Pi, a Vengeance. So I don't think Pi Toss really helps that much in this matchup. We can also probably pitch Vengeance, keep the Darkness Discounter, and keep the Quietus. I think that's fine. Quietus can be used on the first Wraith, and of course, Darkness being 2 damage is good enough to kill the Wraiths right away. We also have Catalyzer and a few other Darkness generators. Alright, so we have pretty good flexible hand. You see that? We have a way to make Darkness, we have a way to make Darkness strong, a way to make Darkness cheap, and we have generic removal. All good stuff. All good stuff all around. I kind of want to do Dark Bulb Acolyte this turn, because I think they want to kill off that Sentry, don't they? I think they do. I want to play Catalyzer on my attack 3. Yeah, because the cool thing about Catalyzer is his expected result is striking once. I want to be a bit greedy and strike more than once. So I will play him here and then also have removal in my pocket. That way he can probably get a strike in directly and live to tell the tale. Oh! Never mind. He will not do that. He will get his 1 strike in, which is expected result. So I'm okay with that. They're playing exactly a unit that cannot be Soul Harvest or Quietist. Cool. Hallow in Wraiths does make sense. I think that is a strong card for them. Multiple Hallow procs too. Gonna be a bit scary. Oh, hello Catalyzer. That's very good. A 2-1. With Hallow, that will become a 3-1. I think I shall play Robemaker here then.
Fashion forward.
This gives me the ability to Darkness this turn, and also have a 3-4 blocker.
Please make yourself right.
Very interesting. They are actually just straight up playing Hallow with no Gwen. I think that's what this is.
Allow me.
You're going to buff the Phantom Butler. That's fine. I'll kill it.
Oh, my dear.
No removal yet.
Yes, yes.
I was thinking about using Darkness, but not really feeling it. I kind of want Senna to see all my removal spells resolve. So this turn, what I shall do is Catalyzer,
Give me your malice creatures of doom.
Darkness, Dark Bulb.
Another guest. Wonderful.
Interesting. Darkness time. Their Hallow is ramping. Soul Harvest. Yep. So they also have a little bit of removal. Interesting. I can't get a full read on their deck just by looking at a few of the cards they've played. It seems like they have a lot. They have Quietus too? Alright, we are just trading blows. There's the Wraith. That's what I was waiting for. Alright, so we'll send it this turn. We're in Darkness first. Risen Mist. Open attack. Ow, that hurts. Ow, I should have Quietus last turn. I actually didn't think they would do open attack with Risen Mist. I thought they would develop like a Wraith or something. Good heavens. Darkness. Yes, please. And this one's going to be fast speed, which means the Senna is going to be very annoying for them. Very, very annoying. Yeah, we can play Robemaker, I believe. 1 minute Darkness sounds kind of lit. Alright, time to stabilize. No more damage to our face, okay? You have Vengeance? Why? Why are you running Vengeance in here? You're weird!
Make the hurt.
I think this is actually like the pretty standard version of Mono SI missed rates. I'm just being dramatic for fun. I actually think it is pretty control heavy from the list I saw. Because I was curious, right? I check Runeterra AR pretty regularly, and I also make meta report videos, so I kind of have to. And I did see that there was a Wraith list that had so many control spells. It was so weird to see. So this is probably what that is. Oh, GG. We outvalued them. Out-controlled. And that's it for this beginner guide. Extra shout out to the patrons on screen. Much love and thank you for supporting. Make sure to like and subscribe if you thought this video helped at all. It really means a lot and shows the video to more people, so hopefully it can be seen by other beginners that need it. Feel free to check out my deck building guide for some tips on how to build your own decks from scratch. Also, come check me out on Twitch. I stream regularly, so come say hi. Thank you so much for watching and have a good one. Laters.